The best sellers on the website of whatever company you're interested in working with. See what they list as their best sellers. It's a pretty simple approach. Just find out what works for them. What is their top selling art and design? Hey guys, welcome inside the Artist Appeals studio. I'm Erin, your host and author of The Artist Appeals, as well as EyeConnect Crafts. And today I want to share a little behind the scenes of some of the fun things I get to do. So I've got a art call or an art request for a client. They're specifically looking for a certain color palette with certain themes. And they're calling this one Glow Up. So we got to make some art that fits a color palette. And the way we do that is we look at the color palette and we select colors that are very, very similar. Let me see here. We're going to work with watercolor paper today. And I might also do some acrylic as well as the watercolor. Okay, so I'm the host of The Artist Appeals, and I talk to artists about the business of art. And one of the cool things that happened to me from getting the word out there, essentially so A is art, right? P is product, turning your art or putting your art on products so that people can buy it, right? And that can be as simple as a print, but it can be as elaborate as a mug or tea towels or any other number of things. Then P for presentation, you gotta present the work, you gotta get it out there. And then E for educate with story. That's essentially where the podcast comes in. The podcast is essentially a huge story. It's a huge way of communicating with other artists, designers, and illustrators, right? So I learned from interviewing all these different artists and illustrators that probably 90% of them, well, that's heavy, don't pinch your fingers, probably more than 90% of them educate in some form or another. They have a book that they share with the world. They have courses that they teach in either person or workshops, or they teach online. Some of them do really cool things where they have these workshops in like France and Spain, and I would love to do that. That just sounds like epic, right? So art, product, presentation, educate with story. That's why I started the Artist Appeals podcast, was to educate and to share the knowledge. And as a result of that, I met a wonderful gentleman, Michael Woodward. He's now my agent. He represents my work. And I work with him as well as an assistant art licensing agent. Where's my other set? I need more bright colors. I have a big set. Oh, there it is. There we go. I love this. And so I work with him because of that educating part. Because of getting out there and educating, I find that more opportunities come from that than anything else. I mean, it really, really is true that sharing your knowledge, either through a book or through video or through a podcast or through a workshop or however, is really, really key to expanding, to scaling, to whatever you want to call it, to finding opportunities. All right, we need our spray bottle. Here we go. We got to get these bad boys alive. They are really dry. So one of the wonderful things about working with an art agent that I love that he does is he sends me trend reports. And we also work with clients that have specific requests. I'm just going to liven up this whole palette. There you go. So we work with clients to provide them with what they need. They see a color trend and we paint something in that color trend. So in this case, today I'm going to be painting in warm hues. They're calling it glow up, the glow up trend. So it's the hues of sunrise and sunset golds and yellows and all sorts of goodness. And I think I'm just going to start with some really big loose washes and just do some abstracts to get motivated here. It's kind of neat working, as I said, with an art agent. I love fan brushes because they have access to these trends. Now, you can also find out about these trends with a little bit of research on the internet, or I talk about finding trends in my online course, The Artist Appeals, that goes with the book and with the workbook. So I talk about some of these online trends and I talk about how to find them. Basically, you can look at bestsellers, go to a website and look at bestsellers, right? You can type in trends. You can go to a place like Pantone. Pantone always releases the color of the year. You can look at Sherman-Williams. Ooh, that water's dirty. We don't want dirty water for watercolors. Not good. It'll muddy my colors. We can't have muddy glow-up colors. No. We'll never do. We'll never do. All right. So there you have it. Some ideas for finding trends. Look at the bestsellers on the website of whatever company you're interested in working with. See what they list as their best sellers. It's a pretty simple approach. Just find out what works for them. What is their top selling art and design? You can look at different paint companies. They will list their top picks for colors of the year. You can also look at interior design websites and trends. All these and more are available to you. All right, so let's see here. We talked about art. We talked about product. We talked about trends. Talked about educating. So art, product, presentation, educating with story or teaching. A for amplification. Amplification is yet another thing that you can accomplish with something like a podcast or a book. You know, basically it ties in to what you decide to do for your education aspect. So that's kind of cool because it serves double duty. Ooh, that got a little muddy. Didn't like that color. And then finally, L for licensing. So I'm going to paint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice I've got 5 pieces of paper out, and I'm going to paint 5 abstracts really fast, all in the color tones they want. And that way, they get something to pick from. So that is the last step, and that is one of the last ways that this relates to the appeals method. So this has been a fun little thing where I get to talk to you guys inside of the studio. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swipe these up at the same time with this giant brush. This is going to be interesting. So I'm using this giant brush and I've picked up pink and like an apricot flesh tone all at once. Ooh, I like it. That is very fun. Fun. Some watercolor artists call that juicy. I hate that term. I don't know why. Don't ask me. It just sounds so naughty. Juicy. Juicy watercolors. Ugh. But that's what they are. That is very interesting. I like the way that works. So let me know if you have any questions about the 7 steps of the artist appeals, licensing, contract terms, trends. That's what I'm here for. Here's just a quick abstract testing out some of those colors. That's what that big brush did. Isn't that lovely? And then I'm going to continue to work on these. Hey, thanks for joining me inside of the studio. I'm Erin at The Artist Appeals. You can check out the book and learn more about the system, the 7-step process of licensing your work, of making money with your art and design by going to The Artist Appeals. You can find the book available at Amazon now. And yeah, drop me a comment down below. Love to hear from you. Love to know what your questions are. Talk to you later. Look, you guys. It's here. Oh my God. You can get a printed version of The Artist Appeals on Amazon now. It looks so good. Oh, I'm so psyched. I like it in the paperback. The Artist Appeals. This is my first copy from Amazon.com. You can get your copy of The Artist Appeals, the 7 steps for how to make money as an artist, which summarizes some of the best stories, tips, tricks, lessons, quotes from the first 2 seasons of the podcast. Here it is, folks. I can't believe it. It's been a lot of work, guys. So there you have it. The printed version's out. Go get yours on Amazon.